in my big mouth, talking louder than I needed to, and overheard by Christy outside the door, I found out. I think I was misled a little bit, just getting comfortable being the only person up this early. But the AC that runs in this room is loud enough that to me, I don't hear really anything going on outside, and I assume the same would be with someone outside hearing what I had to say. Yeah, it's a really bad assumption I made. First of all, for the time-wise, sorry if I'm catching anyone off guard. I'm not planning to stay up long. This is a quick one. 6:30 our time here, 8:30 in Houston. But I just wanted to make sure I had a chance to talk in case we wake up early for the Veto competition. So I'm going to do a quick little thing, and then I'm going to go back to bed for a little bit longer. First of all, wife and kids, don't worry about me. I know if you saw some of what I went through yesterday, I'm sure you're hurting and really feeling bad and wishing that you could help, but you are helping, knowing that you're there, knowing that what happens in this game doesn't affect anything with you and I and our regular life. That's all I need. I was certainly sad yesterday. It was a down day, but I'm a big boy, and I'll be all right. Even if it's a miserable day, it's just a day. It's just some time in this house. All things will change. So don't worry about me. I'm keeping priorities on what's really important in my life versus what's just a fun diversion. So you'll be okay. Just as a refresh, I got worried when I heard that Jess had won the competition. Now, we don't know that's the case, but I think everyone is just about convinced that it is. I would be extremely surprised if it wasn't. When I heard that, I became worried that Nick would not target Jess. I had a fear that that power would somehow create issues and make his HOH problematic. So I immediately popped up there to talk to him when I had a chance, when I found out the nominations were yesterday. Popped up there, and as soon as I started talking to him, I realized that I probably wasn't really as safe as I thought. When I've talked to him before, he's always said, "Man, you're safe. I would never put you up." Very confident. This time it was a lot more about, relationships, and it's tough. I don't hate anyone in here. I got to think. Those are all code words for, don't be so certain. As I gathered more facts, I don't know if Jessica winning or potentially winning that thing really had an effect. I have a feeling I was going to go up no matter what. And part of it probably has to do with Christy overhearing me talking about OV and Nicole and I trying to work together. It is what it is. Screw up on my part. Hey, I own it. It was my loud mouth, and you know what? I move on. But even with all that being said, we had the nomination ceremony, and right before the ceremony, Bella came over because Nick had said that if I was going to be put up, he would let me know. Or if he was going to put me up as a pawn, he would let me know. And right after the ceremony, Bella came over and said, "We need to talk right after." I said, "Okay, that's fine." When she said that, I knew my name was going up. And that was their way of letting me know. I think that was the thing going on. I went up. My heart dropped. But Jessica went up too. I really had been worried it was going to be myself versus Nicole. And I've spent the last few days hearing everyone talk about how great Nicole is and how innocent and friendly and nice and all. And so I really was thinking, oh my gosh, if I have to go up against her and neither one of us wins a veto, do I have the votes or not? I wasn't sure. But when Jessica's name went up, it dawned on me that probably was being used as a pawn. I thought, and that Jess was the victim. There were a lot of people right before the nomination ceremony who were all thinking, oh, we need to flush it out. Nominate Jessica, flush it out. I know Bella and Nick do not like Jess. So I figured out, okay, I'm a pawn, not a great position, but I can live with that. So disappointed, but not thinking my game had been cratered at that point. But then right after the nomination ceremony, Nicole grabs me for a second in the boat room and says, "Hey, I fixed this." What? What are you talking about? Oh, everyone was trying to throw me under the bus. They wanted to put me up on the block by saying that I was the rogue vote cast to save Kimmy. But I fixed it because I went in and laid it out and told them that it wasn't me, that I didn't cast it, that it's one of the couples. Someone in one of the couples that cast the vote instead. And I let them know what it was. And now they're going to go after each other instead. And we should all be really good. I knew right then how dangerous that was going to be. And it was. Horrible. A little bit later, I realized that no one is downstairs. Everyone's upstairs. Try to go up there, open the door. Nick immediately says, "Don't come in. Give us some time." They're all sitting in a circle, arguing, loud, yelling, accusing. The house divided. Nicole tries to go up and they shut her down even faster. And at that point, I really start getting worried. Nicole's having a meltdown because she's realizing, I don't know. I don't remember when she started having her meltdown. I think that was it. Realizing what she had set a bunch of stuff in motion. It was unnecessary. I really don't think she was being targeted unless I was, really getting one put over on me. But it didn't sound like she was the target. She didn't have to do anything. Supposedly, Christy overhearing had been talking a little bit, and no one was too upset. Now that could be a little misleading. Maybe it caused more issues than she's letting on. That wouldn't surprise me, but I think that no one's going to have huge threats over Ovi, Nicole and I given our lack of power in this game right now. Could have smoothed that over. But when Nicole said that, one of two things could have happened. We could have had a complete split in this house. Or you could have what ended up. A complete split. I think it was premature for that. Even if it happened, there was zero guarantee which side of the house was going to be supporting me or not. And therefore, no clue as to how my position would go in terms of the vote and everything. So as much as I'm waiting for this group to implode on itself, it was too early. It would have been horrible. The other result was just as bad, worse. I think even though there may not be complete trust in each other in that group, they all recognized that falling apart at this moment was not good for any of them. So it was a lot easier for them just to convince themselves or just plausible deniability, ignore whether what Nicole said was real or not, or valid or not. Easier just to label her as a troublemaker and stay together as a group. And it certainly sounds like that's what happened. Nicole says she said that they, someone that cast that rogue vote. I didn't ask her for details because I was so frustrated and nervous at the time. But based on what I later heard from everyone else, she must have said a lot of stuff. A lot of things that made people mad. And according to them, they verified it wasn't true. Is that the case? I don't know. At this point, does it matter whether it's true? Perception is reality. And they've decided that she was trying to stir things up. And unfortunately, because they know that OV, myself, and her working together, I get drug along with her going forward. Even when they got done with their meeting upstairs, it was a cold feeling. No one would talk to me. That's when I got the chills about my game. I mean, not that I wasn't worried before, but when that happened, that's it. Game over. Talked to Nicole, tried to talk her off the ledge. What's done is done. Am I disappointed, upset with what was said and how it affects me? Yeah, sure. But she was trying to do what she thought would help. And I get it. A little desperation that we're just getting picked off one by one. It was valid. I do wish she had discussed it with me first. But, it is what it is. She was playing her game, doing what she thought was best. I would have told her that it was a dangerous game, but Ovi going up there and trying to stand up for Nicole and I, nice of Ovi to do, but I didn't want him to do it. I tried to get him not to. Not enough patience in this game. I think if people had just stayed chill, obviously things would have gone differently, but I'm dealing with human variables, including myself. All 16 of those variables in here aren't going to be perfect equations every time. We're going to have flaws, have some emotions, have some unpredictability. I have to live with it. Couple of things. After everything blew up. You notice I'm clean shaven. I guess that was my own little rebellion. I've talked about getting to play house and play dress up in here. Part of that included growing a goatee just to play along with Tommy and his beard, and because people had said you ought to. Well, maybe I'll do it at some point in the future. But symbolically, I wanted to make sure I'm back to the man that I was, that was selected for this show. The man that is willing to stand up with his principles, his character, the one who's going to keep emotions in check, who's going to act based on logic and not get emotional about the game itself. It's just a way for me to settle down and maybe present myself as different to everyone else. It helped me cool down and focus and center better. But also, it was just, I don't know, to present a different image to everyone else out there. So there was a little strategy in it, I suppose. No one's even asked about it yet, but maybe they will later. And if not, that's okay. Because I did do it for myself. So it was fun. I may have given it another week, but under the circumstances, goodbye goatee, hello old Cliff Hawk. Dinner was tough. Nicole can't just stay in her room. I don't know, obviously she can. And hopefully today is easier. But by God, I'm not hiding out in the corner of my room. And it's giving up on this game. It's not who I am. So as difficult as it was, I sat down at dinner, talked to Nick for just a little bit beforehand about the Dallas Cowboys, tried to participate, tried to get back in with the group. I did make a request to do the gratuity circle. Gratuity? I guess that's the right word. Told them that you never fight at the table, so I wasn't going to bring anything up. But that in bad times, that was probably the best time for everyone to remind everyone else how great we've got it. That even in bad times, there's things to be grateful for, and I thought it would help. The idea was very well received. We went around the table. I think it was a fantastic opportunity to start interacting again with everyone. As soon as dinner was over, everyone scattered. The last thing that I needed to do was try to barge in upstairs before people were ready to talk. But, again, I wasn't going to make it easy. I wasn't going to just go hide in my room. If they don't want to talk to me, they don't have to, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to be there. So I plopped down at the same place I was eating. I never moved. I don't know how long I was there. An hour, maybe. With dinner and everything combined, maybe hour and a half. Seemed like a long while. And I would have sat there for 3 or 4 hours probably, till it was time to go to bed. I knew that room had cameras on it that the HOH could see. It wasn't unintentional. I'm not a quitter. I'm not a moper, but I still have my down moments. And I wanted them to see me isolated and in thought and down. Let them see what their blackballing of me was doing. If they hated me, then hey, it's not going to make a difference anyway. If there's any sympathy left, then maybe it makes a difference. So, there was a little bit of planning involved in that. Mickey came in and talked for a second. I appreciate him kind of being up front and saying, look, I'm separating the emotion from the gameplay just like you are, and we're cool. Yeah. Good for Mickey. I appreciate that. That made me feel better. Eventually, Kat came through. I don't even remember who she was with now. Maybe Ovi. I don't know. But I'd realized that some people were in the boat room. A lot of people were upstairs. But she invited me to the boat room. I said, only if I'm welcome. And she said, no, you should, come on in. And so I took a little bit of a chance. I went in there. And who was in there? Sam, Tommy at one point, at the very beginning. Tommy, Sam, Jack, Nick, David, Kat for a little bit. And if I'm missing someone, it was a long day. I walked in and said, guys, are you okay if I come in here? And they all immediately said, yeah. So, uncomfortable situation, maybe a little bit. But we came in there and talked. And not gameplay. Not at all. That's not my concern. I'll be honest, at that point, I was thinking my game was screwed. It was just a matter of how can I survive in this house for the next week until the next eviction. If they want to send me home, fine. But one, I still can fight back and get back in the house. So theoretically, I could be here still for a few weeks. And even if I don't fight back, even if I don't get back into the house if I'm evicted, I still have at least a week in here. And so my initial goal was just trying to get friendly enough to talk to me, that we can at least separate the game from the emotion. So I really have tried to make a point of being the bigger man, or letting them know that I don't want to lose them as friends, and that I hope they can separate the two like I'm doing, the game versus the person. We talked in there a little bit. Eventually I went into my room, and I think Tommy was in there, and Jack, and Christy. Gosh, it's all merging together. Y'all know better than I do at this point. But the main person was Christy. I eventually talked to her. And I acknowledged that, I just threw it out there. I had told several people I'm willing to own what I've said. And, but it would be nice to know what else was said or what the accusations were, because I'm in the dark and I can't even address them unless I know what they are. But eventually Christy and I talked, and I acknowledged her, or let her know that I knew she'd overheard me, and she did, and she downplayed it. And I recognized it was probably a little downplayed. But it at least gave me a chance to try to laugh it off. I don't downplay it myself and say, are y'all really scared of Opie, Nicole, and I? No. The main thing is I was able to at last figure out that it was Nicole and her saying a bunch of things that created all of this. And it was my first chance to distance myself from it all by saying, I didn't know, it wasn't planned. And then later, eventually I think everyone in the house showed up, except maybe Sis was in diary room, Nicole was off, wherever she was. The Camp Comeback people weren't in there, but all the players were in there. And I spent a lot of time telling them, say, look, I'm figuring out what she said, or at least, some of what she said. That's not the way I play the game. I had no clue she was going to do it. I wish she had told me. Y'all saw it, I'm sure. But I spent a lot of time saying, I don't drag people's names through the dirt. I don't gossip. I don't play he said, she said. That's not what my game is about. I'm disappointed. I'm upset that my name's attached to that. And I challenged him. I said, let anyone tell when I've ever tried to play that kind of game that I am a man of character, that there's certain things I will or won't do, and that, I spent a lot of time saying I get it if it affects my game, based on, the fact that I was working with them a little bit. I absolutely get it, but please don't think that that's the kind of game I play. And can we be, civil and I don't want to lose y'all as friends. And y'all heard everything I said. And I think I meant it. I mean, I went back and thought about what I did say. And first of all, they were private thoughts. They were my own opinions. I do, even though it can still, obviously, it did affect my game. I do think there's a difference between expressing opinions and throwing people under the bus and offering up those opinions to other people. So, everyone said the right things at the time of, look, no one's really upset with you, and we get it. No one's, hating you, and they said a lot of things that make me think that making it through this week, weeks following, if they exist, it'll be all right. I'll continue to interact with everyone and be friendly, be the man that I am. How that affects my game, I don't know. All you need is a reason in here, a reason to be the target. I'm still in the same boat I was before, that I can easily get picked off for too long. But the longer I survive, the longer cracks can form. Divisions can occur. The issue that Nicole didn't realize, the point that Nicole didn't realize, is it's going to happen naturally. We just have to wait it out. We can't be the instigators, or else everyone will retreat and bond together. Anytime you're attacked from the outside, your first reaction is to try to pull back and group together. And for that group of 8, Nicole's stuff, I'm sure, was very much seen as an attack from outside, as someone trying to instigate something. That group's going to eat itself, but they have to do it on their own. It has to be created. It has to be instigated by someone within that group, so that the outsiders can then be viewed as people who can help one side or the other, as opposed to the ones causing it. yeah, so do I still have a game? I don't know. I've got more of a game than Nicole's. I feel for her. I'm having to distance myself from her quickly just to save my own game. I think hers is done. I'll be friends with her when we get outside. Absolutely. As a person, I like her. Hope nothing but the best for her. I so empathize with her. Even in the worst of times, I suppose I'm a fairly empathetic person. Even when I thought my game was ruined, I still hate to see her feeling so horrible. It just tears at the heartstrings. But it's a game, and she's got to realize that as much as me and everyone else, that there are consequences to every action. I take responsibility for being overheard and some of my screw-ups, and she's going to be taking responsibility for hers. I did feel better when I first walked in the boat room. When I was invited, Bella was in there. I figured of everyone in here, Bella was going to be the one potentially carrying the biggest grudge, the biggest anger. And I was glad to see her in there, seemed to be smiling at me, friendly. So that helps. Sam went out of his way to kind of nudge me and smile. That makes me feel good. I know Sam probably feels like a little bit of the outsider from that group of 8 also. He's got to be careful as well now. He can't associate with anything outside the group. But he let me know that he was feeling for me. So I appreciated that. But later, Nick and Bella, around the island there in the kitchen, he told me that the plan was still the same, which is to target Jessica, that I'm a pawn. And call me an idiot, call me naive, but I tend to believe them. I hope I can believe them. And Bella seemed very bought into that idea also. We talked about how I was really making Bella laugh, and we were happy and all when he won. And so hopefully they truly buy into this idea, which is true, that I had no idea what was getting ready to be said. I myself had told people that I thought it was a rogue vote, that Nicole hadn't done it. But most people thought the same thing, I'm pretty sure. I never said who I thought had cast that rogue vote. I wasn't going to do what eventually was done by someone else. So, is my game still there? Yeah, I guess so. Obviously, and I told them, I want to win today. We did talk some more in a second boat room session. If I get house guest choice, I'm going to pick Jack. He has said that he will go to bat for me, and if he wins, he'll take me off. He didn't specifically say it, but I said something about, if I picked you, I hope I would gain the benefit if you won or something. And he said, yeah. But I'll just reconfirm. It doesn't matter. I don't have really any other choices. Sam would prefer not to do it again after winning the last 2 POVs. I get it. So if I get house guest choice, I will pick Jack. If I don't, if someone else is drawn, well, we'll see. I need to win Veto and take myself off. If I don't, is there a possibility that if someone else wins Veto, they would pull me off in order to put up Nicole? That's something I'm going to push for. Really, if Jessica won POV, or if she somehow could take herself off the block with this power that we think she's got, my guess is that Nicole goes up in her place. And my guess is that Nicole gets voted out at that time. Oh, sorry, Nicole. I'm really sorry that you're bearing the burden of this right now, but I told her, play big or go home. She did what she thought was necessary. I disagree, but she did what she thought she needed to do. I admire her for wanting to play the game in the first place and for trying to play the game in here. So I want to win the veto. If I don't, I'm curious to see what may happen with the veto. And even if none of that happens, maybe I'm still safe with Jess being the target and me being the pawn. If not, well, then I compete in the battle back, and maybe I get in, maybe I don't. But I don't quit. I don't give up. I'll fight till there's no more breath left in me. You may see the occasional period of time like you did yesterday where I'm looking a little down in the dumps. That wasn't false stuff. I was feeling down. Take a little time, collect your thoughts, get back up, and keep on fighting. And I'll do that. And it's just about the patience and the waiting. If I can salvage my game enough to make it through this week, well, then the battle back stuff is taken care of. There's fewer people in the house. Next week, if Jess was to go home this week, then Nicole seems like an easy target. If something happens that Nicole gets put up and she goes home, it seems like Jess is an easy target next week. Doesn't mean I may not be up there alongside either one of them again. Shout out to Johnny Mac and the Eternal Pawn. But live to fight another week. That's all I can ask for. I went in thinking that in the pecking order, I was probably number 10. You got the 8 couples, the Cool Kids Alliance. You got the 8 of them, then probably Sam, and then I assume myself, followed by Kat, Jess, Nicole, whoever gets in the battle back. At this point, after yesterday, maybe I'm number 11 instead. Kat maybe above me because they now have a reason to throw me as a target, and she's an easy whenever you want to get her kind of thing. Hell, she may make it to the end just as a goat. I could even be number 12, depending on who battles back and gets in. I would come in ahead of Kimmy, Nicole, or Jess. OV, maybe. Well, yeah, maybe OV. David's done a good job of integrating himself. He is dangerous. I hope they recognize that. But theoretically, he could get in above me even. So, 11 or 12. I would still think Jess and Nicole are sitting underneath me. So, hopefully that buys me 2 more weeks. Man, a lot of things can happen in 2 weeks. What a crazy day. Mm-mm-mm. But it's all right. Again, Sharon, Kelly, Daniel, the rest of my family, don't worry about me. I've been through worse. You know, even in the worst times, I still think about when Robert was killed, or just down points in our lives.